What do toddlers, 115-year-olds, and Americans born in the year 2154 have in common?
Apparently, they're all eligible for unemployment checks. Yes, you heard that right.
In the greatest comedy of errors, since the IRS accidentally sent refunds to dead people in 46 states, we now have documented proof that the federal government has paid out benefits to people who either don't exist yet, never existed at all, or should have expired before the internet was invented.
According to Elon Musk, speaking directly to his cabinet as part of a new initiative known as DOGE, that's the Department of Government Efficiency, the U.S. is on track to save $150 billion in FY26 just by cleaning up the industrial-scale fraud, waste, and systemic stupidity baked into federal spending.
His exact quote?
People ask me, how do you find waste and fraud in the government? I'm like, just go in any direction. If that doesn't summarize 50 years of central planning, nothing will. Let's break this down. The $150 billion scandal.
This isn't about tweaking some budget line or trimming a redundant agency.
This is about $150 billion gone, misused, or outright stolen. We're talking about unemployment claims from people not born yet, tax refunds sent to Social Security numbers registered to toddlers, Medicaid issued to people on the FBI's terror watch list, student loans given to applicants with no birth date at all, duplicate payments, ghost applicants, and fraudulent claims from people in prison. It's not just bad management, it's institutionalized decay. But here's the real kicker. This isn't a new problem. This has been happening for decades under both Republican and Democrat administrations.
The only difference?
Elon's actually doing something about it. Incentives, not ideology. Let's step back. Why does this kind of fraud even exist?
Why does the most powerful government on earth hemorrhage taxpayer money like a drunken lottery winner?
Simple incentives. In a normal business, if you screw up payroll, you're fired. If your company pays fake people for fake work, it's wire fraud.
But in government,
you get promoted.
No one ever lost their job in DC for losing track of a few billion.
In fact, the more you spend, the more budget you get next year. That's the federal system. Incompetence is rewarded, fraud is ignored, and oversight is non-existent by design.
Until DOGE.
Because Elon isn't trying to make government work better. He's trying to make it not suck.
DOGE, government meets startup logic.
DOGE is built like a startup, lean, brutal, and surgical. It's not run by career bureaucrats or partisan consultants. It's run by data analysts, forensic accountants, and engineers. People who look at a $1 trillion spending spreadsheet the way a hacker looks at a broken firewall.
They don't ask, how did this happen? They ask, where else is it happening? The result?
A system that does what Congress never could. Real-time fraud detection, cross-agency data verification, public transparency dashboards,
and policy decisions based on hard ROI, not lobbyist talking points.
This isn't utopia. This is basic operational competence, and that alone makes it revolutionary in Washington.
Who's mad about this?
Predictably, the same people who've been milking the system for years. The media calls it draconian. Bureaucrats call it disruptive. Democrats say it's defunding government. And Republicans pretend they were always on board. But let's be honest, the real anger here isn't about services. It's about control. For decades, government agencies have grown not by being useful, but by being expensive.
Waste is their currency.
Fraud is their foundation. And Elon just declared war on both.
That's why they're panicking.
Because if this works, the whole rotten structure falls apart. It's not just about fraud, it's about freedom. Here's where we take off the gloves.
Every dollar stolen in fraud is a dollar extracted from your life, from your work, your energy, your time.
Every fake payout to a phantom applicant is a hidden tax on real people who produce real value. This isn't about efficiency. This is about sovereignty. If you're forced to fund a system that pays unborn people to do nothing and you can't opt out, You are not free.
What Elon is doing isn't just cost cutting. It's a moral correction.
He's showing that libertarian governance isn't fantasy. It's just logic with guts. What's next?
Elon and DOGE aren't stopping at fraud prevention. The FY26 target is just the beginning.
Next phase? AI-powered audits on all federal agencies. Public-facing transparency tools. Justify your budget reviews for every line item. In short, every department has to prove it deserves to exist.
Let that sink in. We're finally moving from centralized bloat to performance-based spending.
From political graft to economic rationality. And for the first time in living memory, the state is being forced to act more like a startup and less like a failing empire.
Final thoughts. The reason this matters isn't because Elon is perfect.
It's because the system he's targeting is perfectly broken. You don't need to agree with his tweets. You don't need to love his cars or rockets. But if you're sick of watching the federal government hand out your money to ghosts, clones, and literal time travelers, you should be paying attention to DOGE. Because for the first time in modern history, someone inside the machine is trying to shut it down from within.
This isn't a headline. It's a blueprint.
And if this works in Washington, there's no reason it can't work in your state, your city, or your wallet.
Call to action.
If you value logic over lobbying and results over rhetoric, hit that like button. Drop a comment below. How much waste do you think your state could cut if DOGE took over? And subscribe for more libertarian truth bombs. No censors, no scripts, no apologies. This is Libertarian Uncensored,
where sanity still has a voice.